Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. If you're new here, my channel is mainly art and commentary, although I will say I don't really touch on any topics that I feel like might be a little bit too heavy to deal with, mainly because I feel like while there are certain topics that are heavy that do demand our attention or should demand our attention, I feel like everybody deserves a little space, a little alcove away from the world where we can just sit and chat with our friends about little things that we see on our For You page or just in our day-to-day lives. With that being said, we are going to get into a topic that is a little serious because today we are going to talk about nothing new, misogyny in gaming. Now, this has been around since forever. I myself, I don't consider myself a quote-unquote gamer girl, but I do enjoy video games and I enjoy playing video games, and I always have, like many women do. I will say, however, with my personal experience, I do not really do a lot of voice chats or play with people that I don't really know. One of the main reasons is because of this very thing that we're going to be talking about, but also because I personally play with a lot of close family and friends, and some of those family members are minors, they're young, they're little, and when you're playing with people that you don't really know, while you may get some very kind and sweet people and have wonderful experiences, I find that that's not really a risk that I want to take with them. If you do see me online, however, you're more than welcome to say hi. I don't know that we will ever bump into each other, but also another reason why I don't play with a lot of people that I don't know is because I am terrible. I do not help that stereotype that girls can't play video games well, although I do think that that stereotype is ridiculous because there are a lot of female players that play exceptionally well. I just don't help that out, you know. However, I will say it's not like I have to, because when we play video games, aren't we all just playing to have fun? I mean, I know some people play it competitively, but I'm not talking about those people. In any case, let's get into it. I'm mainly going to cover two things that I've been seeing circulating my For You page. The first one that I'm going to mention is a Razer ad. Now, you may have seen it, you may not have seen it. I'm going to play it for you here so you can see it if you haven't. If you have seen it, I'm going to try and put a timestamp so that you can skip this part, but without further ado, here is the video.
I literally haven't even talked to this girl for a whole year. I literally don't know why you're still trying to like.
Now, I think it'll come as no surprise when I say that I was not the biggest fan of this ad myself. However, there are people that are kind of coming in defense of this ad and saying, wow, if you guys think that this is offensive, then you need to get a job. This is really not that bad. It's just a joke. And I think the issue here stems from the fact that you can see how in the comments, it just kind of helps promote a space where people can continue to feed off of this energy and keep making jokes at women's expense. Now, I will go ahead and say, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am Hispanic. More specifically, I am Mexican, and in my family, we joke very rough. So I can see where some people might come from this angle and say, wow, guys, it's really not that serious. I can understand that, but I personally don't agree. Now, if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. Just please do so respectfully and share your thoughts with me in the comments. Now, another thing about this, which people have mentioned, is that it was also kind of just an odd choice, especially considering that Razer is trying to market some of their products to women. I'll also go ahead and put some screenshots. As you can see, they have these cute little cat ear headphones. Now, keep in mind, all of these screenshots are after that particular ad. So it's just a little contradictive to make a joke at a woman's expense and then simultaneously still want her business. Granted, I will go ahead and be completely honest and forthcoming and say that I haven't seen any of their other ads, and maybe their other ads are at a guy's expense. However, I don't really know that because I haven't seen it. So I will go ahead and just be honest about that. In any case, I'm not the only person to notice this hypocrisy, so I'll go ahead and post another TikTok that mentions the same point.
Right, get this. So we make this video. It's all about how much my girlfriend suck. I like it, but what's the problem? Well, it's just that we started to market a lot of our products towards women. Oh, damn, those cat ear headphones, huh? They probably won't notice if we just sneak that one in. I mean, we can make things for women and still hate them. You are so right.
So there you have it, guys. That's the first instance that I wanted to talk about. The next instance that we're just gonna go ahead and get straight into is about a comment that a TikToker made. Now, this TikToker goes by Papi Capone, or Tony Talks TT, and he recorded a TikTok with a very bold statement. I will go ahead and play that video in case you guys haven't seen it already, circulating your FYP, and then we'll get into it.
After the last loss in my ranked game, I'm going to say something super controversial. I don't care. Agree, disagree, get angry, I don't care, go to hell. Y'all want to know what genuinely has made the gaming experience worse? More and more women coming onto the game. Yes, I'm saying that. I'm making that known. I am saying that the more women who play video games are making video games worse. They are making the experience worse. And here's why. Video games for the longest time was a primarily male-dominated hobby. That means that men are going to act like men. They're going to act like males because it's mainly been males. Just like if you go to a fucking sewing club, for example, that's a primarily female-dominated industry. So the women are going to talk amongst other women like they would talk with women. They're going to act like women. Now, why do I believe that women coming into gaming is ruining gaming? Because they're acting like women and they expect men to act differently. Now, why am I going on this whole rant? I just had a woman throw a game because me and everyone else on the team was asking her, how did you die in your cloak and dagger ult? They didn't have any ult counters. We weren't flaming. We were just genuinely curious because there's no way that she should have died. She took this as an attack, decided to go Adam Warlock, and then threw the game. I probably also said, I shouldn't have said this, but I don't care. I also said, well, I mean, of course, I forgot. That's my apologies. I forgot that I have to talk to you like you're a woman and talk to you like you're a child. And then she proceeded to throw harder, whatever the hell that means. And now, agree or disagree if you want. Women don't know how to take accountability. Argue with the wall. I watched the replay. She died because she walked out of her ult. I watched it, it's clipped. But because we wanted to know how she died, and I guess she just took it as an attack, she threw the game. If women are going to play video games, I'm not saying that they need to act like men, but they need to understand how men communicate. And if not, get the back on Stardew Valley and Sims 4.
Now, I'm not going to play it. However, there have been several videos and TikToks where people have gone back to that game and they have seen how he was playing and they have seen how the Cloak and Dagger was playing, and they mention that he actually died many more times than the Cloak and Dagger because of the way she happened to do so. They jumped on her. As I said, you can find the clips of him playing in that match on TikTok if you look it up, but I'm not going to show that because my point here is that one thing that I thought was interesting in this video is that he says that one of the reasons why women in gaming make gaming worse is because women expect men to act like women, and then he says that women don't take accountability. I will agree with one thing, and I know you guys are going to be like, whoa, so glad I don't agree with this guy. Whoa, I don't, but I do agree with this point. Please just hear me out. I do agree that when men are surrounded by men, they talk a different way. They act a certain way because they're surrounded by other guys. It's the same thing that happens when two bros are like, wow, my friend would never do something like that, and a woman says, well, actually he would. A perfect example of this is the let's hear for the man of the year trend, where guys are coming up onto the internet on TikTok and saying, where are you guys finding these guys? That's crazy. My friends would never. I would never. And then women would come on and say, actually, it was your friend. It was your brother. It was your homeboy, because they show a different side of themselves to their guy friends and to women and to other people. I will go ahead and say that happens to all of us. There's that very famous Japanese proverb that says, you have three faces. The first face you show to the world, the second face you show to your close friends and your family, the third face you never show anyone. It is the truest reflection of who you are. If I may be so bold, I would also like to specify that even amongst your family and friends, you show different masks or different faces. It's kind of where that meme comes from, where it's like, oh, you use group B humor on group A and it doesn't go over well, because depending on who we're talking to, we do talk different. We do show different aspects of ourselves. All of us are like diamonds and we're multifaceted, and so when we're with different people, we show different sides of ourselves. That being said, one thing I do not agree with is that women do not take accountability, and also that women make gaming worse. I think that regardless of what you identify as, what I have noticed is that when you are in the heat of the battle in a video game and you lose, even if it's your fault, it's always going to be easier to blame it on somebody else. Personally, if I'm a healer and I die, I'm like, well, my tank didn't protect me, or the DPS didn't come back, and I was getting pounded by this, I was getting attacked by Spider-Man or Iron Fist, and I could never get them off of me. Or if you're a tank in DPS, well, I'm sure you know. But that's my point. It's always easier to blame someone else when you're in the midst of all this because it sucks to lose. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case. Sometimes you lose and it's like, all right, GG's, whatever. But sometimes it's not the case. And I think especially if they were playing competitive, then even more so, that urge to just shift the blame onto somebody else becomes stronger because you don't want to be the weak link in your team. Even I don't play competitive because, as I mentioned before, I'm not very good at these games. I enjoy playing them, but I'm not good at them. But even if I acknowledge that I'm not very good at them, even I hate to be considered the weak link, even though 9 times out of 10 I am. Now, with all that being said, he did double down on this take, and I will go ahead and play it for you so you guys can see why he doubled down on it and how he was trying to go about explaining things. Let me know if you agree with him in the comments or if you can see where he's coming from with this take.
All right, so I'm going to do what I do best, and that's dig my grave deeper. Ladies, I'm going to set up an analogy for you. Pay attention. So let's say every so often, doesn't really matter, you and your girlfriends, you go shopping. Whenever you go shopping, whatever shopping entails for you, that's what you're doing. After a while, y'all start to get in the groove of things. Loki got a system going on. Some would even say like a mini culture of shopping, right? Let's say that. Now, let's say after you've been doing it for a while, after you get into the groove, some of your girlfriends decide to invite their partners. So maybe their boyfriend or their husband, maybe even just the guy that they know, it doesn't really matter. And I will say, as a man, men typically hate shopping. For various reasons, it takes too long. We're not all about trying on clothes over and over. We're not about thrifting, yada, 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 the list goes on. And so after you and the girlfriends have been getting into this groove for so long, once the men start to come along, things change. Now, you decide that in the way that things change, it's not a good change, it's a bad change. And after men have done, let's say, what men do, you have decided that the men have ruined shopping. Your mini culture of shopping, the men have ruined it. That's not to say that all of the men could have ruined it. Maybe Becky's boyfriend is great to shop with. Or maybe Mary's male friend that she brought along was the GBF, the gay best friend. He's great as well, whole 9 yards. So you decide to bring up to your friends, hey guys, I've been thinking about it, I think the men are ruining shopping. Ruining shopping. Now, my question for you is, with this conclusion that you've come to, whether anyone else agrees or disagrees that it's ruined, everyone can agree that it's changed. Now, would you say, or do you think it would be fair to say that you bringing up that, in your personal belief that men are ruining shopping, do you think it's fair to say that you hate men because of the line that you use? Now, one more little caveat. Let's say that one of the friends, Tracy, says, hey, your name's Stacy, I don't know. Let's say one of the friends says, Tracy, why would you say that the men are ruining it? We have Linda over here, and Linda is doing the same things that you say that the men are doing. So is Linda ruining shopping? And you're like, that's a great point. Yes, I would also say that Linda is ruining the shopping, but it's because Linda is doing the same negative things that the men are doing. I don't think that all the women are a positive benefit to our mini shopping culture, but two things can be true at once. So again, in this hypothetical, would it be fair to say that you hate men because you said the men are ruining shopping? Yes or no?
Now, with all of that in mind, I would love for you guys to let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I hope you enjoyed the art, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Love you. Bye.